Hey everybody, what's going on? The Montreal Canadiens are back on the ice tonight. At least their prospects are as the annual rookie tournament kicks off in Buffalo. And there's a lot to be excited about with this Montreal Canadiens young team that they're sending to Buffalo for this tournament. So I'm going to dive into that in this video. But if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. You can see it in the bottom right hand corner of this video. Montreal Canadiens videos are sent out every Friday morning. Let's look at some of the players that could make an impact for the Montreal Canadiens this season from the rookie tournament that are suiting up for the Canadiens. You look at a player like Owen Beck and you have to think that Owen Beck has an outside chance of making the Montreal Canadiens. He already impressed Martin St. Louis and the Montreal Canadiens coaching staff last year during preseason, the rookie tournament, and just a bunch of different things that kind of made him get a game later on in the season because the Montreal Canadiens needed an emergency call-up, and he did not look out of place in that game. He's a very smart two-way hockey player, and it would not surprise me if he dominates this rookie tournament and puts on a show at training camp as well into the preseason. This is the type of player that really is going to slot in as the third line center for the future of the Montreal Canadiens, and there's a lot to like about this player. Does he have top six upside? I'm probably going to lean no, but he has very capable third line center abilities, and that's going to be a strength for the Canadiens in the future. You have to think that the Montreal Canadiens have to be thrilled with what they've seen from Owen Beck so far after they drafted him 1 year ago. Another player that's interesting to me right now is a winger, and that's Emil Heinemann. I think that there's an outside chance he cracks the Montreal Canadiens opening night lineup as well. This is a player that continued to get bigger last year and adapt to the North American game. He's someone that looked strong in some limited showings and looked pretty good in Laval as well, and I think there's a lot to like about this player. He has a really heavy shot, and he's someone that's going to bring some skills to the table. He's not just an empty calorie player. He can play both sides of the puck, and I really think that it's his shot that stands out the most, along with his playmaking. I think that's an underrated asset of his game. There's no way to tell if he's going to be able to make the team out of camp, but he put on quite a show last year at this time of year as well. So I think there's an outside chance we see him on the opening night roster, which, looking back to how the offseason played out for the Montreal Canadiens, this is exactly what they were trying to do when they made trades. Open up the floor for young players to crack the lineup if they're able to do so and earn it. And if players like Heinemann or Beck earn it, there's no way the Montreal Canadiens are going to just send them down based on merit. So I think that's a good way to operate in terms of how you're building your franchise moving forward. I know there's a controversial figure in Logan Mayu, and he's set to make his professional hockey debut this season. I think that he's someone that might see games later on in the season, and of course there's an outside chance he impresses during camp, but I just don't think his defensive game is there yet to make an impact at the NHL level. His skating and offense is there. There's no real questions about that, but I'm not sure that his defensive game is on par yet, and I think some time in Laval will do him really good. Obviously, his frame and size is there in NHL caliber already, but there are some things he needs to work on. I think playing in Laval will do some wonders for him, but I do believe he'll see some games later on in the season, and that makes a lot of sense. Along with a player like Sean Farrell, I know we saw him later in the season last year after he signed a contract with the club. I think he has a lot of skill, a lot of talent. He didn't look exactly out of place when he was with the Montreal Canadiens last year, but I think there was room for him to make strides during the offseason. So it'll be interesting to see what he brings to the table tonight at the rookie tournament, along with in the preseason as well. Those are just four candidates that I think have an outside shot at making the Montreal Canadiens this season, at least out of training camp. I'm sure there's a lot of young players that are going to see time for this team, but you hope maybe not as many because the Montreal Canadiens would like to keep injuries a lot lower than they have been in previous years. So I think that's going to be an area they're going to focus on this year, even if that's not something you can necessarily control. That's it for me today from Cook's Corner. As always, let me know in the comment section down below what young Montreal Canadiens players you think have a chance at cracking the Montreal Canadiens opening night lineup. I'm Zach Cook. We'll see you later.